What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Travel Guy. This is ID84, and this is a travel podcast, videocast, whatever you want to call it. Little video that we do on the side, on top of the videos that we do, just kind of give you an idea of stuff that we do and places we see, and give you our opinions on it. Sometimes by the video itself, you really can't get a good idea if we actually enjoy the place or didn't enjoy the place. And there's also stuff in the video that we might have forgot to film that we didn't mention. For those who don't watch our videos and know much about them, it's more of a free form type of video in which we just basically go on vacation or we take these trips and adventures and we document it kind of from beginning to the end, almost like a whole movie format, but we don't really give too much detail other than what's going on there. It's more of a visual thing to see stuff, not to really, not 100% to form. It's mostly to entertain at the end of the day and be like, oh, this is what it looks like here from this different perspectives. So it's a little bit different than some of your traditional travel vloggers you see like on YouTube that basically, give a voiceover of everything. We don't do that much here. But we did want to add this little podcast so we can tell you stories about things we did, places we've gone, things are cool, things are bad, our experience on it, everything under the sun. And we've done so much in the last 20 years that we just technically we're doing this kind of just so we can remember the stuff that we did. As you get older, you start losing your memory a little bit. And we knew we did so much, and then we'd sit back and kind of forget about something and kind of watch a video, and then refresh ourselves and be like, oh yeah, I remember that. And it kind of and I'm like, I don't want to forget it again. So this kind of podcast is basically like me trying to remember my memory at 40 years old, and that maybe when I'm 80, God rest, I live that long, I could come back to this podcast and I could think, oh yeah, I remember that place in case I forgot anything. Might be a possibility somewhere in the future, right? To help maybe bring people's memory back or something like that. But further ado, we wanted to talk today, as you've probably seen by the title, South of the Border. South of the Border. I got the T-shirt on. I found this T-shirt in my drawer. I can't remember when I got it. It had to be any time within the last 10 years I got this thing. It's a men's small. It is super tight and it has very unique stains on it, which I'm not sure where it came from. Um, since I don't remember when I got this T-shirt, I don't remember where this T-shirt was stored, if it was spilt on it, that was the situation. And it's odd that I got white. I never get white for shirts because I know I just stain them up since the stains there. So I never wore this before. I still had the tag on it, and I figured we were gonna do South of the Border today. So I wanted to kind of dress the part. I actually forgot that I had a little teddy bear that I got my son on his first trip to South of the Border, so he would always remember it. But um, that without saying, let's talk a little bit about SOB. Now, if you don't know much about South of the Border is this, some would loosely say a tourist trap at the end of 95 in North Carolina and the beginning of 95 in South Carolina, depending if you're coming from the north or the opposite if you're coming from the south. And this is this tourist spot that you see for signs for miles. I mean, they start all the way up. I think they used to start at least into Virginia, and I would remember seeing them sometimes. I think I saw one in Florida once coming north. So they really did their marketing based on these giant billboards. And this is a great idea considering this place was established and built, long time ago. So it was up 1950 it opened. So you figure there was no other way to advertise for people coming interstate through the interstate rather. Um, so it was a great idea. You put these billboards up and you give them something to stop to. Now, it is a nice strategic location for a couple of reasons. One reason is it's about halfway between Miami and New York City, roughly miles wise. So it gave a good overnight stay place for people who were coming down there. I was a person who came from Boston and drive to Florida every year. And we would stay over in North Carolina both nights. And that kind of made a part of the trip. It kind of like you look forward to like that hotel stay and stuff, and like you're almost there. Um, and even to this day, when we do our trips as a family, we do the same exact thing. The hotel stays, we kind of strategically place where we're going to be staying for the night. A little more, and we do a little more in-depth stuff that I did when my parents was a kid. We had those AAA books that you would just flip through, and you look at a map, and you think you could kind of see what city you're going to be in. There's no GPS at the time. It was like the flip map, and you call a hotel ahead, see if there's any vacancy, and then you go from there. So it was a lot different. We didn't really plan. Now when me and Susie and the kids we book a hotel, we kind of look around what's around, depending on what time we're going to get there, because it's something we could do. We like to make the most of our stay even if it's an overnight stay in a hotel, even if it's something small or something nearby, it may be something we could see the next morning. So, ideally for us, the Self of the Porter would be something that would be intriguing, but there's really no really hotels around there. There's two motels, one in which we stayed in, which I'll talk about on one of these episodes when I talk about Spring Break 2003. Um, that hotel was still standing last time we checked when I did my video, but it was like a casino or something going on in the front line, and then the one next door was gone. There is one at South of the Border. It mixed reviews on that one. I guess you could say is the nicest way possibly. I do have a bucket list item, and I've told my wife this all the time, and I need to do this for like 1 or 2 nights. And I'd love to have the situation with work that we could just travel and we could do this stuff while we're working. Um, and one of those ideas is basically I want to spend the night at South of the Border. And people are like, why you want to spend the night? It's the craziest thing I've ever heard. No, I'll tell you why. It's an allure to me as a child, and so we'll go through the whole story when we talk about Self the Border today. Um, it's a place that my parents never want to stop when we were kids. So it's like to me, it was like, what is so odd about that? And I remember we stopped once just to use the convenience store because my mother needed Advil or something like that, and I would drive by for years and years and years, and I finally when I was 18 years old, I was my freshman year of college. Me and my buddies decided we're going to take a trip to Florida, and one of the must stops was South Dakota because we had to figure out what the hell was I missing out all these years? Why didn't my parents want to stop here? You know, and it was just an alert to me. I don't know what about it just made me feel like I needed to see this place and see more about it, and it became an obsession to me. In fact, um, after I visited there in 2003, I kind of went a little cuckoo when I was researching this. I was trying to plan day trips just to South of the Border to spend there. I even said to my wife, if I ever won Powerball, the one thing I would do is buy South of the Border and redo it and make it a place like it used to be back when it first opened. It's just an iconic place on 95. I hope never goes away. There's a little bit of Americana there, even though it's Mexican theme. It brings you back to the days of road tripping down 95. It's just the neon lights, the bright lights, the fireworks, the everything about the place brings you back into a place in time on that route that was nothing, compared to what it is now. And then even what it was when I was a kid, it's so much more of an upgrade now. Driving. I remember just seeing motels for miles and these little restaurants and stuff. And even those slowly have been going away on I-95. In the northern region, it's been pretty much gone. In South Carolina, North Carolina, and those stretches of Georgia, and even parts of Florida, you still had opportunities with these old towns to stay. But as we were driving through, and we drive down probably once or twice a year, we have seen that some of the motels have been closed, and some of those little interstate towns have kind of became more commercialized and more they've spread and became bigger and stuff like that. So to us, it was kind of like um, it was just a place. It's an amazing place. I'm rambling on here about the whole wanting to see South the Border or in college and stuff, just to see what it's like. And you know, I've been back several times since 2003. Every time I pass it, I have not stopped. I'll put it that way, either one way or another, right? So, for 20 plus years of driving back and forth, we have at that time there. So my wife refuses to get out of the car when we get there. I don't know why, but to give you a little idea, okay, it's technically in Hammer, South Carolina. Um, Also, on some maps it says that's in Dillon, South Carolina too, but I think Dillon's the major part of the town, and I think Hammer is kind of just, you know, not part of it or part of it or associated with it. I'm not sure, but you can't miss it. So it's exit one on I well, technically it's exit one or it's the very last exit. It's 199 in South Carolina on 95, depending on in 95 in general. You can't miss it. You see these signs from miles away, and it'll say this exit, and you can see the giant Sombrero guy holding the sign and the big giant Sombrero observation deck, right? So, just to give you some, this is basically what Wikipedia says. South of the Border is an attraction on 985, US 301, and US 501 in Hammer, South Carolina. Just south of Roland, North Carolina, Its name became because of its border between North and South Carolina was the halfway point basically between Florida and New York, which I already talked about. It's a themed Mexican style location with restaurants, stores. It's a truck stop, an amusement park. They sell fireworks. The mascot's Pedro, yada yada yada, and so on and so on. So a little bit of history of it. Opened 1995 by its founder, um, and his name was oh, where is it? I think his name was Adi, like myself, which I thought was pretty funny. Um, I don't know why it's not mentioning it. Oh, Alan. I'm sorry, Alan. Alan Schaefer. I think it began with an A. And he started in 1950, and it was a beer stand. That's how it started. And the reason they did this was because the county in North Carolina, directly adjacent to this place, was a dry county and didn't sell alcohol. So, um, Alan had this bright idea where he was basically going to, put a little beer stand so people from North Carolina can come over and have one. And then over time expanded into like a little a little a gift shop, and then he put a gas station, and then a lounge and a fireworks store because all this stuff, and then it basically became a thing, and basically what you see now. I think they ripped down like one or two buildings since the original, all the buildings were there, and I think it caught fire. I think that was the reason why. It was it was a convenience store. Oh, no, it was a fireworks store. Like I remember, if you go there now, you can't miss it. It's a giant concrete slab right next to it. It would be next to a building, so that's still there. And see, it was nearby Dillon was once called the wedding capital of the East, so it's in Jasonstown, Dillon, allowing people as young as 14 to get married. Um, so this was another reason people would maybe honeymoon at south of the border once they got married at 14 in South Carolina. There you go. So there was a thing where he called all his work as Pedro, and obviously, like I said, they got the name because it's the uh, south of North Carolina, right? That border, and I, a period of time in South Carolina, south of the border, I think, seen an opportunity, and it kind of fell apart statewide. And the opportunity was there was a period of time in South Carolina where you could they allowed gambling, like slot gambling and slot house, and I think it only lasted like a handful of years before it was taken back, which is weird. A very conservative state like South Carolina even allowing it in the first place. But if you drive down into South Carolina, many towns near the border, you may even see abandoned buildings that kind of look like casinos or arcades and stuff like that. There's one on 85 right when you get into the border of South Carolina from North Carolina. It's right there on the side of the road. I think it's like the first exit, and it was a online video gambling place. And south of the border had one. It's called the Silver Slipper, I believe, and a glass slipper, something like that. And it's a giant building that's on their property. And I don't know what originally it was used for. Maybe a gift shop or something like that. But it was converted eventually over to being a slot place. So I think they had thought, man, maybe possibly we could get some traffic in here from people gambling because we have this um, option to gamble, and then that got taken away. After the fact, and that building's still there, and you can look in, you could see like signs that says "Do not enter" and stuff like that. So it's very interesting. So the interesting about Alan, who started it, he died on my birthday, July 19th, in 2001, I think. Let's see if it comes up. And I remember just kind of being borderline obsessed with the whole um idea of this place. Like it's like it was such a great idea, and it fell apart. It just needed some love. You know what I mean? And that's what I'd love to like win some money and just go down there and buy the whole place and turn it into something small at first and then see what goes from there with all this potential. It already has the reclination, right? It already has this. The people see it. It's right on the side of the highway, and my vision would be for it would be a themed place. Maybe it starts off like a themed village, right? With like tiny houses and like make it feel like you're in, Mexico, and kind of really like use the existing buildings and kind of adapt into these little streets and little like saloons and restaurants and everything like that. I would definitely do an upgrade to the hotel. I would make them very modern, very unique. Something that people want to stay in and want to run down, really vibe it up a little bit, and then build an additional hotel. In fact, I would actually commission if other hotel companies would like to build hotels near on the property as well. And then from there, I would, eventually start cleaning everything up, adding some rides, then some really good rides and some unique rides, and then eventually maybe build a conference space so people could have a conference. And this is like all the stuff like I think maybe the vision was in the day. Um, and there's a lot of infrastructure that's already there that you really have to just reimagine it a little bit, Um, one of the things that would be tough that is because, and you have to, we could come up with some creative way of this. Half the properties on one side of 301 and the other half's on the other half. So there's a bridge that crosses over. Now it's not a heavily driven area, but it is the main route, and it would be the route that people would have to get in there. And there's buildings on both sides that could be saved and unique. I think the way you would have to do is have a couple bridges crossing over permanently and keep that road kind of walled off. So once you're in, kind of thing. And then stop the parking because there's plenty of parking on the back. I think you can imagine it that way. You can kind of interuse the road as part of it. I think Busch Gardens does something similar to that. So yeah, that would be my vision for this place if I got it. And I would just have these restaurants, and it would be like it top notch. It wouldn't be like roadside stuff. It would be a reason for people to just want to drive again to go to Florida from the north. It'd be a reason for people, a place for people to stop. Like you can make it there. Um, and really it kind of monopolize on it. But so the website's been pretty updated. It looks pretty good. Looks like they got someone professional to do it. They have the social media around there, the campsite. So the campsite thing is what we were talking about, like how like I would like to spend 2 nights there, just to like be there at night. Now I've been there like early in the morning. I've been there at night, but I never hung out about that. And I have this odd infatuation with truck stops. Like I enjoy truck stops. I like the idea of maybe because we don't have many truck stops up in the Northeast, but like I like the idea of a place that's fully functioning and ready to go 24 hours a day. And it's like a small community day. And yeah, and I remember like the Mass Pike has the rest areas and stuff, and I remember I was going through a time where I was like, trying to put some videos and stuff together. I needed a creative space, and I used to go to these rest areas like on like a Thursday night, like at 8 o'clock when no one's there, and sit there and get a coffee and be like in my own zone. And I felt it really, really like very um motivating, I guess you could tell. I don't know why. I feel like it was a good space for me. I could kind of chill and hang out. Um, and I like that. Even though it's like traditional truck stops a little more lively, these roadside like rest areas, there's a sense of like a loneliness to it too. I think I liked, which is very weird. And no, like who, like you would ask, like who would like loneliness, and maybe it's like a self check, right, to make sure you can still feel that way. I'm thinking. Like it's something like, you're sitting there on a Thursday and there's no one there, no one's traveling, it's nights, it's a weekday, and it's you on your laptop working, and the people that work there who are alone and they only have the other coworkers that work there. And maybe they live close by, maybe it's just a job to them. But, and maybe they enjoy it, not anyone being there, right? It's a nice easy night, nice easy shift. But there's a sense there. It's very very unique, very interesting too. And something that I enjoy doing at these truck stops, and something that, you know, to this day when I travel, and to have something like that, like South of the Border, to stop in and have that same vibe and same, but a little more like a village, like a small town, right? It'd be amazing. So if you went to the website right now, it says like things to do. You go to attractions, and it has the Sombrero Tower and Arcade, which I will tell you that the Sombrero observation deck has never been open every single time I've been there. So, not a guarantee if it's going to be there. It says it's open 7 to 7 Monday through Thursday, and then 10 to 8 Friday through Sunday. And I've been there during those times, and it's never been open. So keep that in mind. I know there was a problem with the elevator for some time. I thought they had it fixed, but the Carpetbagger YouTube channel went there. I think he went to the top. So things to keep around. There's Pedro Park, which is a very small amusement park that would be getting a very, very drastic update when I took over the place. And then the Reptile Lagoon, which I have been in once, and it's a really uh, interesting place. It's kind of sad a little bit. So now that if you go to dining, let's see, let's click on some dining. We have a few options. You have Polano's Bar, which I think is in the Sombrero restaurant. Let's see, South of the Border Premier Bar, fully renovated, located at the Sombrero Room restaurant. Okay, yes. So this is the restaurant that's attached to the main gift shop when you go there. Now that this picture makes it look really, really famous. It looks really cool. This is open from 4 to 11, Monday through Thursday, and 1 through 11 Friday and Saturdays. Now I would like to stay there on Friday, Saturday, so I can get there, stay at the bar. Like that's the thing I want to do. I want to like hang out there, just walk around and just kind of chill, check out the stores, go back to the campsite, relax a little bit, have some dinner, and then go hit up the bar and sit there and like check it out and just feel what it's like walking from the bar after it closes when everything else is like some of the stores stay open all night, but like just walking and like seeing like, maybe that loneliness factor, just being there alone, right? Just the people working there in the stores and stuff, like late at night would be interesting to experience. So I don't know. That place in Rachel, Nevada are the two places I want to spend a couple nights with in an RV. So that's been my wife knows that, and that's going to be on our spot one day when we decide to retire. So, but other than the Polanos, bro, you have the Soprano Room restaurant, which Soprano Room restaurant is a perfect place for an entire family to take a break for the journey and host them together. Now, I've never eaten there, so I can't judge it. I don't really know what to make of it. Um, but I'm trying to remember where the Soprano Room is. Yes, oh yeah, that is the one. That's the one that says. Sorry. And then we have Pedro's Ice Cream, which is a little ice cream spot over there. Then you have the Peddler's Steakhouse, which I was told was fairly decent steak. So I mean, not that it could possibly be the case, right? Who knows? I tell you what, I think it's self supporter. I don't think steak, but the steakhouse I've heard was actually pretty good. Which this would be something that would really take on and kind of like make it your own. I feel like people, if you were in this, if the place was cleaner and more inviting and updated and refreshed and less trappy, but more like a place you want to check out and really, really like be part of, I think that the restaurants would do better because people would go to a no name restaurant all the time you know, if the place looks inviting. But so it's one of those things to think of. So those are the options you have to eat. Um, I guess the hot dog place is closed. There used to be like that chili dog place, which is what I ate at when we went there on spring break that time. But let's see, is there a map on this website? So Pedro's blog. So Pedro has a okay, so here we go. The Pedro blog. So someone started this. All right, so this website's at least from 2022. And what they did was they started a vlog on this or a blog um about South of the Border, about the history. It looks like they had one, two, three, four, five, six, seven entries um during this time, which is interesting. It's a couple stories. So it looks like someone maybe came over and decided it was maybe they were gonna have this cool little. They got a little motivated to make this thing a little bit better. You know what I mean? The pictures are great. They take great pictures. They have nothing on their upcoming events. They have a little vlog about their history. Um, Pedro's Coffee Casa. So the names have changed on the buildings a few times. It's a story about the founder on there as well. Um, and I have to admit, if you look at this website, the website looks better than the place. And usually when you talk about these things, um, people would be like, usually the place is way better than the website. No, this website makes this place look like it's top notch. And that's the level I'd like to bring the place to if I got to that opportunity. So, there's a few. It needs some work. It needs some love. And it needs some rebranding and a big press push to it. You know what I mean? To get people to go there and kind of just like, listen, this place is new. We're doing it. It's it's different. It's a lot different. It's what it was drummed to be. And they have some hotels and restaurants and a little village, Pedro Village with like live music, maybe a winery and a brewery. And then maybe get like a Ferris wheel and stuff, and but incorporate all the original buildings in there somehow. You make them work. Either they're little places to eat, little shops, but like to go into the adventure of South of the Border wouldn't be no longer like, just popping in the stores. It'd be a park And I would even I think I would even charge people to enter the park. I think the park entrance would be free. I think the rides and stuff and some of the attractions obviously you would have to pay for with tickets and stuff like that at first because I would still want people to be able to come in and walk around and enjoy stuff without have to pay in a fee and experience the whole park. But like obviously like almost like a fair, like if you want something to eat, the eat food's there. If you want to ride a ride, the ride's there and certain things like that, which I think would be awesome. So that's the idea of this place. So if anyone wants to invest in this out there and is motivated like I am, I'm ready to do this. So let me know. I'll be more than happy to share my ideas with you, and we'll do something from there. Let me know what you guys think of South of the Border. If you've been there before, if it's something you stopped at before, something you always wanted to, something you never heard of. Let me know. I'm dying to know. Leave your messages below. Let us know what you think. And make sure you like and subscribe too, because like you said, it helps the algorithm. And you leave a comment below, even better. So thank you guys for watching The Travel Guy, Mod84, and we'll see you guys next week. Well, I don't know what we're going to talk about, but it'll be something cool and something we've done. So stay tuned for that, and it's going to be a hell of a time. See you guys later. Bye.